Unleash the power of your training. Welcome to Create a Personal Plan to Double Your Revenue and Time Off. Here are your hosts, David Wood and Mike Ziegler.
So, with that, at this time, I want to introduce our special guest, the coach of, he has coached thousands of entrepreneurs across 15 countries for over the last 20 years. He's the author of Get Paid for Who You Are, which was nominated to the Transformational Leadership Council alongside such thought leaders as Don Miguel Ruiz, John Gray, and Marion Williamson. Since creating the world's largest coaching business, he now coaches rockstar entrepreneurs to double their revenue faster, overcome the shiny object syndrome, and to be more extraordinary entrepreneurs and humans. So give a warm welcome to David Wood.
Woo! Thanks, Mike. Welcome, everybody. And let's get this screen shared. So I'm going to go through, I've had a lot of clients in 20 something years of coaching, and I've discovered some key elements that need to be mastered to double revenue and your time off. Let's work smarter, not harder. So I will take you through 9 steps, but I don't want you to do all the 9 steps in your business or your job, because the plan for one person is not the same as a plan for the next person. The idea of this seminar is to give you, to run you through the 9 areas, and then you will pick the 3 that matter most to you. That's your plan. That'll be your plan for the next 90 days, should you choose to accept it. So you'll score yourself in each of these areas, and then you'll circle 3 and go, that's it. That's where I need to focus. Now, if you want more help at the end on how to implement that, I'll tell you about a program that I have where I take people by the hand and I help them do that. I'll also give you some free goodies at the end that will also help you. So if you were to double revenue, how much are we talking? This is the interactive part. You may know already, if you sit back with your arms folded and you're checking your phone on Facebook, you're not going to get very much out of this session. But if you engage and you interact, a different part of your brain lights up, and some of this may actually go in and stick. So let's do the interactive part. Please type in the chat. If you were to double revenue, how much would that add to your bank account in a year? Let's put some dollar amounts in. If you're shy and you don't want to, and Mike, by the way, let's not read out the names, we'll just read out the numbers. And if you're shy, you can just write them down in front of you, but it'd be nice we'd like to be able to read some out. And then the second one is, how many hours? If you were to double your time off, how many extra hours off would you like in a day? Would you like to free up an extra 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 hours? At the end of this 1 year from now, how many hours do you want to free up per day? So the first dollar amount is per year. What's at stake? And how many hours per day are at stake? What do we got, Mike?
150K, 750K, and 4 hours, and another 4 hours off so far.
Yeah. So just imagine that, an extra 4 hours off a day, simply because you worked smarter, simply because you stopped doing all the crap that doesn't need to be done. It's entertaining and it keeps you busy. Imagine what that would be like. That's what's at stake here. We got another 4 hours. All right, you guys collude and band together and work this out. Everyone's like, another 4 hours. I love that. I love that. All right, let's get into how to do it. There are 3 areas that I track with my clients: the dollars, how much they're bringing in; the time off, so how many hours are freed up in a day to do whatever they want; and growth. Who are you as a human? How are you showing up in the world with your partner, with your kids, with your friends, with your customers? To be honest, this is the stuff I really care about. I care about growth and connection, love and intimacy more than I do about dollars and time off. Don't tell anybody. All right. to handle these dollars, time off, and growth, there are 3 buckets that we need to look at: doubling your productivity, doubling your dollars, and building a team. Building a team, because you are the bottleneck in your own business. Now, if we don't get these areas right, here's what happens. If we don't get the productivity right, then we are busy versus productive. We might be feeling overwhelmed, might be feeling scattered, uncertain as to what to do. We're very busy, but we're not actually doubling our revenue and our time off. If we don't get doubling your revenue right, we'll have low leads and sales, maybe flat revenue, maybe declining, which is not a good spot to be in. And if we don't get building the team right, then you are the bottleneck. You got low leverage and the risk is burnout. And I've been there. I was burned out, went and retired in the rice fields of Bali for like 3 years before I was able to come back. So let's not do that. Here's the poll. Which one of these is your biggest headache? Please click on poll and choose one. Is it low productivity? Is it low sales? Or is it low leverage? Which one is the biggest headache? I'll give you about 20 seconds to click on polls and click on which one for you. And I'm going to give you the plan, or between the two of us, I'll give you the plan to address this headache for you. What do we got, Mike?
We've got 40% flat and declining sales, which is the big one. Low leverage is actually equal to it at 40%, and low productivity is actually 20%.
Interesting. Okay. So we got the leveraging our time, and the dollars. Those are the 2 things. Right? That helps me. That's really good to know. So out of this, we've got these 2 circles. These bottom 2 circles are where most people are identifying right now with the pain points. Okay, here, so within each bucket, I identified 3 skills to master. And I'll go through each of those, 9 in total. And in my 8-week program, we go through every single one of these. Each week has one of these skills. And there was something else my brain wanted to say, and then it forgot it. Does it come back? Oh, yep, it's on the next slide. We're going to score these areas. So I want you to give yourself a color. There's only 3 colors: green, orange, and red. Green if you're rocking out this area, orange if it needs help, and red if it needs a lot of help. So at the end of this, you'll have a color for each of the 9 areas, and I will ask you to circle 3. That'll be your plan. Let's score it. Plotting your course. You get a green for this. Give yourself a green for this. Write this down, please. If you already know your 12-month goals, they're clear, they're motivating. You've got business goals, you've got personal goals, you've got the 3-month milestones, and every week you know your 7-day goals. You know, every week. Might be Friday or Sunday. You're like, this is what I'm going to do this week. And this is what I wish I could do, but I'm going to stick in a drawer. How many people do that? No, we just add everything to the list and then feel overwhelmed and frustrated. And if you know what you're going to do when you wake up the next day, then you get, there we go. I knew the sneeze was coming. You just never know exactly when. Thank you, Mike. And if you know what you're going to do when you wake up the next day, you know the 2 most important things to do before you do anything else, you get a green. If this needs work, give yourself an orange. And if this needs a lot of work, if you really like goals, what goals? You know, I just kind of wake up and I just start work. Then give yourself a red. And feel free to type this in the chat. If you do type it in the chat as you go, so we can track, then let's use a plot. So you say plot green, plot red, plot orange in the chat. All right, achieve more. This is the real productivity piece. You get a green for this if you regularly book sprints in your calendar and show up for them. Might be 9 to 11 on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 to 6 on a Sunday, whatever. You regularly book sprints where your computer notifications are turned off. Your phone goes on airplane mode. There's a sign on your door and your family knows not to interrupt you for this sprint. And you sit down and you actually achieve the thing you said was most important in that sprint. You don't go off on ordering stuff on Amazon, or oh, I got to respond to that voicemail, or oh, wait, this text just came in, I'll do that, or let me check my email, and then you're gone. This happens to 90, I'm going to make this up, 96.2% of people. A lot of people, including myself often, this is what happens. If you are able to nail it, then you get a green. If you're so-so at that, you're okay, that's an orange. And if this really needs help, then this is a red. Imagine what you could do if you were super productive instead of super busy. So type it into the chat, type achieve, and then your color. And then let's do be unstoppable, and then I'll check the chat for your answers after this one, if I remember. Be unstoppable. This is your mindset. If your mindset sucks, then all of this other stuff will elevate you for sure, but it's not going to do it nearly as much as if you can shift your thinking patterns. You get a green for this if a problem occurs and you are unstoppable. You enjoy it. I eat problems for breakfast. If you say that, I eat problems for breakfast, and you mean it, then you might get a green here. You get a green if you tell the truth, even when you'll lose something. Your partner might get upset at you. Your kids might get annoyed and upset if you tell them the truth. You might lose a customer, an opportunity. You might get fired. You tell the truth if 9 out of 10 times, even if you're going to lose something or it's uncomfortable, you still do it. If you face your edge, when you're a bit nervous about something, if you do it anyway, simply because you're screwing up your courage and you don't want to live a life of regret, then you get a green. So this is a tall order, I know, but I'm being unstoppable. This area is so important. If you're so-so, you hit some of those elements pretty well, give yourself an orange. And if this really needs work, if you know that your mindset got you this far, but it needs to be elevated to get you further, give yourself a red. And I will check your colors in the chat. We've got for achieve, we got a yellow orange. I know I can never tell the difference between these colors, yellow and orange. We got a yellow orange, Kaylee, yellow orange. For plot your course, we had a green. Nice one. Like Joshua's got for being unstoppable, he's got a light green. We got Brennan says achieve as an orange. And Kimberly's got an orange as well. Okay, good. I noticed no reds, which kind of fits in with you guys said the next two buckets were more important. So let's, I'll give you one quick example of how this made a big difference, because I know sometimes people are telling me, oh, this is a really good idea, you should try this out. I want to know that it worked for people before I'm going to do it. Sam Page came to me. He was already rocking it out on so many cylinders, and he wanted to increase revenue by 50%. That was his target. After going through plot your course, achieve more, and be unstoppable, he flashed in the first 2 weeks, I know how to increase by 1,000% now. I know how to do it. It'll take 3 years. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it doable? Yes. What's going to need to happen to make that happen? And he started creating the plan, and we worked on it together. That went from 50% vision to 1,000% vision simply by being asked the right questions and by mastering these skills. Boom. All right, let's score the next one. Doubling your revenue. In week 4 of the program, we dive into filling your funnel. You get a green for this if you have more leads than you can handle. You got a flood of traffic. I had one client who said I had to create a waiting list because I had more clients than we could handle. How awesome is that? Bump your fees. So you get a green if you've got a flood of leads, flood of traffic. Doesn't matter the source, but that's a green. If you have less leads than you'd want, that's an orange. And if you're really hurting for traffic, you could use a lot more visitors to your website than give yourself a red. Now, I'm not going to convert most of this to if you have a job versus a business. Yeah, if you have a job and you're working for someone else, you can convert these in your head to what they would mean. I'll give business examples. All right, put your color in the chat and put fill in front of it. Fill green, fill orange, fill red. Convert sales. It doesn't help you to have a massive traffic to your website if they are not engaging with you, if they're not signing up and getting on your mailing list, if they're not buying straight away, or they're not getting on your mailing list and then buying from your nurturing sequence. So whatever your traffic is, if you don't have a high conversion rate, then you don't get a green. You get a green if you have a high conversion rate. If your conversion rate is okay, that's an orange. And if your conversion rate really needs help from those 1,000 visitors or 100 visitors to the website, what percentage are signing up? Give yourself a color and put convert green, convert orange, convert red. And I invite you to be honest. Don't be ashamed of saying, hey, this is red. If we can't acknowledge the problem, we can't fix the problem. And, you know, some of you might have red for all of these. If that's true, that's okay. No shame here, at least not on my side. The next step in week 6, we look at leveraging your existing customers. It's so easy to chase new customers and new business and new deals, but are you loving up the ones you already have? You get a green for leverage customers. If you get a green for leverage customers, if once they buy from you, they're also offered a wonderful upsell sequence and you've got good stats on that. Also, they're repeat buyers. You don't just get one sale, they buy multiple times. People are sending you a stream of endorsements and testimonials automatically, and people are sending you referrals. You're flooded with referrals. You get a green if you nail all of those. If you don't, consider an orange. And if this is a really big opportunity for you, this is the one that you really need to work on, give yourself a red. And I would say put customers in. Now you can put leverage. We'll put leverage. So leverage green, leverage orange, leverage red. And I'm going to check the chat right now. For Phil, we've got a red from Kaylee, right on. That's the only one. Oh, we got a red from Joshua. We got a red from Brennan. Okay. And then for convert, we got a bright orange for Brennan. I love it. You guys are getting into the shades. For convert, we got an orange for Joshua. Convert orange. Okay, great. And for leverage, we got an orange and a red and a red. Wonderful. And then here's an example. Here was a client, Amy Youngblood, interior designer. She came to me and she said, let's double revenue. So we did. Now what it took, we had to go into the convert sales part in week 7. And, you know, we didn't wait till week 7. She needed it now. So we jumped in and we did it. Her messaging was off. What she needed was caveman messaging so that a caveman could grunt the message. We came up with something like, deserve home, feel proud. Right? You deserve a home you're proud of, because her messaging was so convoluted and diluted. So we did that, and that helped with the conversions, which was one of the pieces which led to doubling revenue within 12 months. All right, let's score the last bucket. Last bucket, building team. Most of us are the bottleneck in our own business. So in week 7, what we do is clarify your genius. You get a green already. You come prepackaged as a green if you are already crystal clear on what your genius zone is, which is what you can do better than almost anyone else and you love to do. That's your genius zone. And you have a list of every other aspect of the business that is not your genius zone. I'm not saying you've offloaded that yet, but you are clear. This is mine. This is what should be other people's. Very exciting week. So give yourself a green if you're crystal clear on that. Give yourself an orange if you kind of have an idea, and give yourself a red if you're like, oh, I really need to know what's my genius zone and the stuff I shouldn't be doing. This also works if you're a manager or if you have any job. You don't have to have a business for that one. So write clarify green, clarify orange, clarify red. The next one, hire talent. You get a green for this if you have a great system that you're proud of that allows you to attract lots of great talent at a very good price. You know the websites to go to, you know what kind of ad to write to get people engaged and hungry to work with you. You have an automated system to screen them. You have automated testing so that you only get on Zoom with the final 3 that have already passed the testing and impressed the hell out of you. Give yourself a green if you're rocking that out, orange if this one needs work, and red if you're like, oh, I really need to learn how to do this. I think hire talent is one of the top ones out of these 9. Most important. Richard Branson, I say he was a genius in this, getting the best people. So put higher green, higher orange, or higher red in the chat. And then the last one. I've worked with so many managers in the last 2 years. Some have their own business. Some of them are vice presidents of Warner Brothers or directors at Salesforce, Facebook, Square. And so common, the theme was, I have to work so hard to manage the team and they're not super motivated. So you get a green if you have an almost self-managing team. They're sending you their goals every week for you to approve. And they're great goals. Some of them are better goals than you would have come up with. They're setting their own deadlines. They're not just saying, I'll do this. They're saying, I'll do it by Thursday, 5 o'clock. And then they're renegotiating their deadlines with you in advance. Can you imagine that? They're coming to you, hey, I know I said I'd have this by 5 o'clock tomorrow. I don't think I can do it. Can I get an extension until Saturday, 9 a.m.? And then you get to talk about it. I'm excited just talking about this because I get inspired by people taking initiative and being leaders themselves. So write motivate green, motivate orange, or motivate red in the chat, and I'll check what we got.
David, just to let you know, we're at the 5-minute warning.
Okay, we got 5 minutes. Thank you. All right, for clarify, we got red, green, green from Brennan, Kaylee, Joshua. Okay, red, green, green. That's a mix. And for hire, we've got a very dull orange, orange. And for motivate, we got a shiny, we got a shiny orange, we got a red, and we got an orange. Great. So you guys know now where you're strong and where you're weak. And I say that's great information, right? But what are we going to do with that? Well, firstly, Alex Mondosian, he needed a PA. He didn't know that until we started working together, but he needed a PA. He needed to leverage his time and take off so much off of his plate so that he could do it in his genius zone. What I want you to do is circle 3. Pick the 3. They might be your 3 reds. They might not. It's up to you. Pick the 3. That's your plan over the next 90 days. And if you like, type in the chat the number 1 thing. Out of those 3, this is my number 1 leverage point to double my revenue and my time off over the next 12 months. I want you to know that. So please give us at least your number 1. And I'm going to skip the I wanted to go into Be Unstoppable and give you some of the content that we actually do in the 8-week program. If you have any burning questions, please put them in. I've got like 2 minutes to answer those. So please post any questions in the chat. And I want to tell you where to go while people are typing any questions for more help. So myfocusgift.com will take you to a gift basket of goodies. I'll give you a cheat sheet with what we've talked about today. It's a wonderful checklist. There's a video. You can also get on my mailing list if you want to receive some great content from me every week. But go to myfocusgift.com to get the hidden page on my website where I have the gifts. And if you're interested in being in the 8-week program, which is very affordable, I'll tell you, I made this specifically for people to be affordable. Here's a link that's not here on the page. And maybe you'd type it in the chat, Mike. It's focus.ceo/start, START. And you can get yourself into this program. If you want my email address, please respect my email address by not subscribing me to your mailing list. I like to choose to do that. So I'm trusting you with this. David@focus.ceo will come straight to me. And if you want to reach out to me, maybe see if maybe private coaching would be a fit for you, you can do it that way. So in the last minute and a half, I'll just check for any questions in the chat. Joshua says, how do I get motivated when not achieving more because of not having genius clarity? I will say that once you plot your course, that can be very motivating. And once you work out your genius zone and you have a list of all the things that you are not going to do, maybe in the next week, the next month, or the next year, you're going to get off to someone else. I find that incredibly motivating. All right. All right. I think that's a wrap. So thank you guys for your participation. I've enjoyed this, and it made it a lot more fun by the fact that you guys were getting in here. And I'd love to see you over on myfocusgift.com or zip me an email at david@focus.ceo. And if it's right for you at this time in your life to be part of the 8-week program, I'd love to help you double your revenue and your time off. But know that as we do it, we're going to get into how you're showing up in the world. If you don't want to look at that, don't do this program, because that's a side benefit of the program. Thanks, everybody.